All right, hello. We are back with the executive board. We're having our meeting tonight. The date is June 10th, 2025, and I'd like to go ahead and start with the roll call. I'm Kevin Pryor, President. I'm here. Vice President John Fernandez.
Here.
Vice President of Finance Chuck Unruh.
Present.
Secretary Mike Hoffpower.
Here.
Member at Large Randy Bauer. Member at Large Leela DeCann. I know
Here.
she just went. Oh, she's here. Okay, she's here. Member at Large David Hayter.
Present.
Member at Large Lakshmana Viswanath.
Here.
And Executive Director Renee Bartlett.
Here.
Thank you. Are there any conflicts of interest that are new that need to be disclosed at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll continue on to financial report. Vice President of Finance Chuck Unruh.
Thank you, Mr. President. The finances of U.S. chess have been challenging. Well, what part is challenging if we're only down 129,000 on the bottom line? That's our actual loss as we go into May. Well, the challenge is in our cash burn. When we look through all of our sectors, we're down in the mission. We're down the 129,000, and we're projecting out to be at the end of the year off actual 238,000. Well, currently we're ahead of budget. We're trying to be clear, we're ahead of budget by 701,000. So why do we have a serious cash burn problem? It's because the 701,000 ahead, 433,000 comes from restricted donations, 364,000 comes from investments, and most of that is restricted. So our funds are restricted that we've made, and that is where we're getting our extra money. Now, the other issue why we have a little bit of a cash burn this year, well, a lot, is we spent or will spend $500,000 in this fiscal year for capital expense, but we haven't depreciated any of it. Now, upgrading a rating system, sure, it's an asset to us, but I don't think we could sell it. So that's 500,000 that we spent that we probably will not get back. All that contributed to lowering our cash forecast for year end, which is next month, at $900,000. So with our event losses, and that's where most of them are, plus the capital expense, we plan to see that we've gone through about 900,000 to the negative in net worth. Net worth as far as the cash. Now, do we have enough cash to go over the summer? I said it was serious. It's not critical. And the answer is yes. I calculate we have $832,000 that is available to U.S. chess operations at this time without borrowing another dime. That should see us through the toughest part of the year, which is the first quarter. First quarter, of course, starts in July, and it'll be over the summer. So yes, it's been serious. The events have not worked out this year. We had pretty much a perfect storm, much worse than we ever thought. We're landing on our feet because we have other parts of the mission that are doing well, but once again, they don't provide the cash that's necessary. Good news is that our cost controls are excellent, meaning that we're well within budget when we look at payroll and expenses, general and administration, travel, all those things are well within where we thought would be. And at this point, I'd ask our executive director for a quick update on Super Nationals because the news is better than I thought.
Thanks, Chuck. Indeed, as we've
seen the bills trickle in. We're waiting for one more bill from a hotel, and then we'll have all the bills in for Supernationals. But it looks like we are not going to lose any money on Supernationals. What we're able to make, the bottom line, I won't know precisely until I get that final bill, and that's from the Rosen properties, but we are not looking at a loss for Supernationals. And Chuck had mentioned cost controls. One of the things that we did as we were watching the registration is that we were not sending people as early. We were trying to trim the staff that we were taking. And we've been doing that throughout the year and being cautious about expenses. And so that has helped us weather.
Well, that is excellent news.
Thank you. And it'll be all about events next year. There are some things we just cannot control, such as the number of people that will attend our events. That's an unknown, as we found out with the Pan Am. But if that part of the organization or mission gets back to normal, it doesn't even have to make money. It just has to get back some sort of normal. We'll have a good year next year. We're holding up. We didn't quite make it on membership revenue. What I'm saying is we didn't make budget, or it doesn't look like we'll make our budget. But the budget was forecast for a 2% increase in membership revenue, and we're just not going to be at that 2%. But it's nothing tragic. It just didn't perform in the budget as we anticipated. So, yeah, it's tough news in the sense that we're going to suffer that 900,000 negative on our cash flow, plus the 500,000 that went to LEGO, or will go to LEGO totally. But we made it. We got lucky. We're good.
Well,
So
I have to ask the question because I'm
Yes,
sure
sir.
that people who listen to this will also wonder the shortfall in membership. To what degree do we think it's attributed to raising the actual cost of membership?
I believe that this is normal. We see cycles in membership ever since the Fisher boom. Sometimes membership would be off 40 or 50%. During COVID, membership revenue was down by 30%, $400,000. But the core heritage is there, and the membership numbers at 113,000 are still good. Of course, when you raise your dues a little and you do a few things that are different, you're creating minor barriers. But I'm not as concerned about the membership revenue for next year. I think it'll be strong, based on strong meaning we're not going to decrease from here. But coming out of January, where we increase the dues, we're going to see membership revenue increase. And I think that's going to flow into the next fiscal year, is what I'm trying to say.
I see.
Now, do I think it's going to grow by 2%? I don't know. But if we can maintain where we are, the bottom line gets a lot better as we research some of our issues that we've had with events.
Well, then our opportunity is to identify what would be an acceptable target and to put in objectives that help us drive that opportunity. I
Yes,
did
sir.
notice when I looked over the budget information, just as a point of information, 72% of the revenue is membership and tournament fees. That's significant.
So if I might add one thing, Mr.
Oh,
President.
Randy has joined us. Yes.
Yes, I did join. Thank you. And years ago, I had proposed a ADM that would have indexed our dues to inflation, and just provided for every other year increases. And I think the issue that our membership doesn't really get is that when you see increases, you don't realize how that really aligns with just changes in cost of living as it relates to inflation. And if you look at those inflation indexes and where our dues are, they're not out of line, and it's not really realistic to think that US Chess doesn't have the same kinds of cost increases for its employees, for the things that it purchases, as the economy in general. And I still wish that we would go to a way of just indexing our dues to what's happening with inflation in the economy in general, and that maybe our membership would understand then that these are just the increases that they see in day-to-day prices as well, as opposed to, sporadic increases that they then feel, the
The way
hurt.
it feels. The way it
Right.
feels, yes.
I find that's a wonderful comment in the sense of, I did a look back 50 years ago or more, back to when I started playing chess, and actually the numbers would have us at $60 for our membership, which is somewhere around where we are now from when, if you use the cost indexes.
Right.
But the problem has always been is that we're late to the game. The inflation has already happened by the time we increase our dues.
Yep, you're right, Chuck.
All right.
But
Well,
we're
do we-
good. We're solid, and if there's no question that we have enough capital for the summer.
Great. Do we have any other questions around the financial report? All right. Thank you very much, Chuck.
You're welcome.
At this point, we are going to go into closed session and we will return on the other side with any decisions or votes that need to be made. So we'll see you on the other side. All right, and we are back from closed session, and let's go ahead with any motions that we have that came out of closed session. Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Mr. President. We have one motion coming out of closed session, and this motion moves to establish the Ashley Tournament of State K3 champions beginning in calendar year 2026. The motion reads, the executive board moves to approve the qualifications, schedule, eligibility criteria, and rules for the Ashley Tournament of K3 state champions beginning in August 2026.
All right, there's the motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
All right, any discussion?
It's a good thing. And it's,
All
and it's
right.
like Chuck said, it's endowed. So it's all
And it
teed
is
up, ready to
endowed,
go.
that's correct. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that's it. All right, so we are closing down for the evening. We will look to see everyone next month. Actually, we'll be in the US Open, but we do have one more online meeting, and then we have the US Open. So we're going to see folks pretty soon in Madison, Wisconsin. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
Oh, and if you watch this, make sure if you're registered to vote, get out there and vote. All right, it's been moved. Second?
Seconded.
All right, and so all in favor?
Uh,
All right, have a good night, folks.
So Renee,